On Sunday, the San Francisco 49ers hosted Tua Tagovailoa in the dangerous Miami Dolphins. Despite having the league's #1 defense, the 49ers knew that the Dolphins were capable of scoring at any time, at any point on the field, and darned if they didn't score on the first play of the game. Right off the bat, we can see Charvarius Ward asking for some help to cover Trent Sherfield, former 49er. But Mooney Ward and Talanoa Hufanga aren't quite on the same page, and both of them go with Tyreek Hill. To make matters worse, Tashawn Gibson overruns the play just enough, and Trent Sherfield is off to the races. Just 10 seconds into the game, Jason Sanders knocks through the extra point, making the score Miami 7, San Francisco 0. So the 49ers get the ball back, and almost immediately we see the Miami Dolphins employ a strategy that was used by the Arizona Cardinals and the New Orleans Saints, putting a lot of guys up at the line of scrimmage. But the Cardinals and the Saints did this to stop the run, and here it's 3rd down and 10. So why would they do this on an obvious passing down? Well, a couple of different reasons. For one thing, they're hoping to confuse the quarterback. And they're also hoping to confuse the offensive line. The linemen don't even know who's coming and who's going. They're going to have to hold up long enough for Brandon Ayuk to run all the way across the field, because if they can do that, it's going to be tough for corner Xavier Howard to stay with him. The 49ers also run Juwan Jennings in behind him, and naturally the safety goes with the deeper route. Garoppolo does a good job of buying time and then gets Ayuk the football. Here the 49ers put Christian McCaffrey in motion, and Duke Riley goes with him, telling the 49ers that this is probably man-to-man coverage. And that's exactly what the 49ers want. A linebacker matched up one-on-one against Christian McCaffrey. And when McCaffrey fakes to the inside, Riley bites on the fake, and Christian McCaffrey is able to burn him pretty badly here, and Garoppolo gets a beautiful ball out to McCaffrey. Now you may have noticed Mike McGlinchey getting walked back into the quarterback, but this should be a penalty on the defense for illegal use of hands to the face. But maybe the official didn't see it. Either way, Jimmy Garoppolo is playing the best football of his career, and once again he's able to buy some time. He opens the game with a 23-yard pass to Ayuk and a 33-yard pass to Christian McCaffrey. Unfortunately, this would be the last completed pass for Jimmy Garoppolo for the San Francisco 49ers, at least for the 2022 regular season. With the 49ers facing another 3rd down, once again we see Miami absolutely loading up the line of scrimmage. And here, they drop the nose tackle Christian Wilkins into coverage, leaving Jake Brendel with no one to block. Trent Williams is blocking the defensive end, Zach Sealer, meaning nobody is blocking the linebacker, Jerome Baker, and he's got a clean shot at Jimmy Garoppolo. To make matters worse, Jalen Phillips also gets past Mike McGlinchey. But to play devil's advocate a little bit, this is exacerbated by the fact that the left side of the line gave up a free rusher, giving Garoppolo nowhere to go really. Still, Garoppolo tries to fight for some yardage here, at least to stay in field goal range, and he does a good job of doing that. But he would unfortunately be injured on this play. Let's take another look. From this angle, we get a great look at Phillips landing on the ankle of Jimmy Garoppolo. And in my view, this was unintentional, not unnecessary roughness or anything like that, simply a freak accident. And you may not have even noticed as Robbie Gould gets ready to knock through the field goal, Jimmy Garoppolo walked off the field under his own power. Nobody even realized he was injured until the Niners came back from commercial break. When the 49ers examined him, they were terrified that this could be a very serious injury to his foot, possibly even a Liz Frank injury, which can take anywhere between 6 months to a full year to heal from. Thank God they got some good news that confirmed that this is an injury that can heal in potentially 7 to 8 weeks, meaning Garoppolo could come back for the playoffs. Now, you may be wondering, how realistic is that really? We've actually seen that in the NFL before, at least 2 times that I can think of. The first would be in 1972, the undefeated Dolphins season. You may not remember, but they lost their starting quarterback in Week 5 to a broken leg. And in the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh, yeah, they rotated home field advantage back in those days. Bob Greasy, who's actually the dad of 49ers quarterback coach Brian Greasy, came back into the game after healing from that broken leg after several weeks and helped the Dolphins to win that game and go on to complete their undefeated perfect season by also winning in the Super Bowl. The second time I can think of was in 2001 when Drew Bledsoe was seriously injured during the regular season, and he also came back in the AFC Championship game, coincidentally also against the Steelers. He would help the Patriots win that game, allowing them to start Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, Tom's first ever Super Bowl, which they then went on to win. So it has happened before. The case for Garoppolo rejoining the team for the playoffs is entirely possible. But for now, Mr. Irrelevant himself, the last pick in the NFL draft, Brock Purdy, is going to have to come into the game on the very next drive. Now, after that field goal, the 49ers still trail a dangerous Dolphins team by a score of 7-3. They would like to score some points on this drive, and here they're facing a key third down. If you're a young quarterback and you'd like to convert your first third down and get into scoring position, you might lean on, say, Christian McCaffrey. That would be a good idea. Unfortunately, the Dolphin defense knows that as well, so when McCaffrey makes a move to the inside, they defend this very aggressively. But the 49ers are a step ahead. His route calls for him to break back to the outside, and the timing between quarterback and receiver is perfect. Once again, we can see that the Dolphins have at least 5 men at the line of scrimmage that are threatening to rush. So who's coming and who's going? Trick question. They're all coming. But the line holds up and Purdy gets this ball out quickly, and it's a big first down for the kid. And check out the sideline. Look who the most excited person is over there. As the drive continues, the 49ers are going to give Jordan Mason a carry, and they don't really disguise their intentions. The offensive line moves to their right. And notice they also have a tight end and a fullback in the formation heading in that direction as well. Once again, the defense reacts aggressively, allowing Mason a lane to cut back. If you've been following this channel, you know we've been covering the fact that the 49ers are developing Mason and doing a good job with it. He reminds me a lot of Marion the Barbarian, Marion Barber. Anybody remember him? And just file this play away for later, because we're going to see it again. As you'll see, I thought Brock Purdy played pretty good in this game, but here he makes what I consider to be his biggest mistake, trying to throw the ball back across the field to Brandon Ayuk. Why is that a mistake? Well, we can see a defender right there, and because this ball is coming back across the field, he should be in a great position to make a play on this ball. This pass should be intercepted. Unfortunately, he never sees the quarterback, he has no idea the ball is coming, and he accidentally runs into Brandon Ayuk, drawing a penalty for defensive pass interference. From this angle, we get a real good look at the interference. This play is simple. Kyle Juszczyk comes wide open heading to the corner, thanks to some help from Brandon Ayuk, who's pretending to run a pass route, but is really blocking on the play to prevent the defense from adjusting. I thought Kader Kawu was going to go with Kyle Juszczyk on the play, but he seems to be mesmerized by Brock Purdy. It probably doesn't help that he has Deebo Samuel right in front of him. And Kader's a rookie, to be fair. No Mr. Irrelevant had ever completed a pass in the NFL before Brock Purdy, but here he impresses early, leading the 49ers to a touchdown on his first drive of the game. Think about how crazy this game has been so far. The Dolphins score on the first play of the game, Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt on the first drive of the game for the 49ers, and then on the next drive, they take the lead, 10-7. Former 49er Jeff Wilson Jr. also played in this game. Now, Wilson Jr. requested to be traded after the 49ers acquired Christian McCaffrey. Understandable, and he's been effective for the Dolphins. But in this game, he had just one carry for 3 yards. Let's move ahead. In the second quarter, the Dolphins are threatening, but are facing a third down here. And they'd like to get creative, so they fake the run, and to really sell this fake, they have the tackle blocked down to the inside. Now this is going to be a pass, so they're going to have to do something to block Nick Bosa. So they use the fullback, who's lined up in the tight end position, to chip Bosa first and then head out for a pass route. And then they're going to ask Jeff Wilson Jr. to block Nick Bosa in pass protection. Nick Bosa goes right through the both of them. Nick Bosa leads the NFL in sacks, and the Dolphins are going to have to settle for a field goal, tying the game at 10 apiece. The 49ers would get the ball back, and now it's their turn to fake the run. And to help sell this fake, they pull the guard, Dan Brunskill. And this really helps to suck in the Dolphins' defense, allowing Tyler Kroft to sneak downfield for a pass. Here, Purdy does a good job of watching the safety all the way to the back of his drop. Then he takes a quick look at Brandon Ayuk, thinks about it, before moving over to the wide open Kroft. Now he throws in a pump fake real quick. I'm not sure why he did that, except maybe to get a better throwing lane, but he gets the ball to Kroft while he's still in bounds. As the drive continues, Shanahan starts to do his thing, putting Deebo Samuel in motion and moving the defense. When the defense realizes that this carry is going to Jordan Mason, they scramble to recover. Jordan Mason takes a space the defense left behind. The physical running style, along with the ability to cut, is what reminds me of Marion Barber. On this play, the Dolphins' defense once again was determined to overwhelm the offensive line of the 49ers. And even though the Niners leave Christian McCaffrey in to block, Javon Holland is still able to get through on the blitz. But Purdy makes a nice move to buy some time and then gets the football to Brandon Ayuk. And here I think Kyle Shanahan makes a real good decision when we talk about situational football. You can see they're at the 39-yard line there, and it's 4th down. They have to get to the 35 for a first down, so it's 4th and 4. That's not insignificant, but realistically, they're too far away for the field goal and too close to punt. So this is a good choice to go for it here. Naturally, the Dolphins send a blitz. And it may look like Christian McCaffrey is coming open here, but you can take a look. Brock Purdy's about to take a shot. He just has no choice but to get rid of this football. He throws up a 50-50 ball to Ayuk, and the defense comes down with the interception, but that's okay because that's just like a punt. And that's why I like the decision from Shanahan so much. There was no downside to going for it here. It was a low-risk, high-reward play. It didn't work out for the 49ers, but it didn't hurt them either. And that's good football because eventually some of those plays are going to break San Francisco's way. For the Dolphins, their next drive doesn't go much better. Let's take a look at what went wrong for the Dolphins here because they had a plan. And that plan was once again to chip Nick Bosa with the tight end before sending him out on the pass route, slowing down Bosa's rush and giving that outside tackle a little bit more time to block him. But the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. And in this case, it's Eric Armstead, back in the lineup for the 49ers, who rushes to the inside, allowing Nick Bosa to loop around the other way and get a clean shot on Tua. So after a fast and furious start to this game, we've seen a couple of changes of possession now in the second quarter, and the 49ers take over again in the 2-minute situation. Purdy misses Brandon Ayuk here, and after the game, he would apologize to Ayuk for missing him and promised him, "I am going to feed you the football," which Ayuk, of course, loved. Yeah, that's great leadership from Purdy to own up to that. And let's take a look at what happens on the next play. With a minute 19 left, the Dolphins know that the 49ers are trying to score some points before the half. They know they're in a passing situation. So even though they're crowding the line of scrimmage, here they only rush 4 and drop a couple of players back. But they're going to be out of position to defend this route by George Kittle. What about the corner, you may ask? Well, keep in mind, he doesn't know what route that Kittle's running. If he jumps that, Kittle could surprise him pretty badly by going deep. So he has no choice but to give him some space. Now keep in mind the 49er offensive line still doesn't know who's coming and who's going, and as you can clearly see here, they get it wrong, allowing a free rusher, and this time it's Jalen Phillips. But here Purdy shows some great anticipation and gets this ball to George Kittle. That is an impressive throw in the face of pressure. That is good stuff from the young rookie. Definitely one of my favorite throws of the game. With 48 seconds to go, they put Christian McCaffrey in motion, moving the defense. And even though the Dolphins are still only rushing 4, now they're out of position to defend Jawan Jennings. Remember, that linebacker isn't really there. And then Jennings does a good job of making a man miss and running after the catch, and then getting out of bounds to stop the clock. This is an excellent drive for the 49ers. We talked about how the motion of Christian McCaffrey moved the defense, but the 49ers also did something on this play to help their offensive line. They moved the pocket. After a Dolphins penalty, Shanahan continues toying with the Miami pass rush, coming up with the great play call of the screen to Christian McCaffrey. With just 7 seconds to go in the half, it all comes down to this. George Kittle goes in motion and nobody goes with him, telling the 49ers this is probably zone. And in fact, here the Dolphins only rush 3. But there may still be some confusion on defense here, because along with George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey also heads in that direction, meaning there's going to be 3 offensive players in an area with only 2 defenders. Purdy finds the open man, and it's a touchdown for the 49ers. What a drive. The Dolphins scored on the first play of the game, and the 49ers lost their starting quarterback. But at halftime, it's the 49ers who have the lead, 17-10. When the Dolphins get the ball in the second half, we see the familiar idea of using a tight end to chip Nick Bosa before going out for a route, giving the tackle a little bit of help on the play. But on this play, it's Eric Armstead who breaks through. And Tua Tagovailoa throws the ball to the only offensive player who isn't looking. And it's Jeff Wilson Jr. And to make matters worse, Jeff Wilson Jr. falls down on the play, practically gift wrapping an interception for Jimmy Ward. Now I say gift wrapping, but from this angle we can see Ward makes a great play on the ball. Also worth noting that this is multiple plays we've looked at now where Eric Armstead has had a big impact. His return to the lineup really means something. When the 49ers get the ball back, the Dolphins send a blitz. And when they fake the handoff to Christian McCaffrey, it also sucks in 2 of the linebackers. Deebo Samuel takes the space the defense left behind. Now, I say takes the space the defense left behind, but in reality, this is excellent coverage by Howard here. But Deebo shows great toughness and fights for that catch and comes down with the football. Wow, what a great catch. For some of you older fans out there, it may remind you of the Sea of Hands catch. A little bit of context behind that. After the Dolphins won the Super Bowl in 72 and 73, they played the Raiders in the playoffs, and it was this catch that ended Miami's bid for a three-peat. But in this case, the autumn wind is a Niner. And San Francisco beats the blitz again when Kader Kouohu sets up to the outside and Brandon Ayuk goes to the inside. Here, Purdy could have thrown this pass to George Kittle, but he stares at it just a little too long, and also misses Deebo Samuel coming across, I think. The pass protection has held up, but all pass protection breaks down eventually, but once again Purdy makes a nice move to buy some time, and it looks like he has a lane to run. When the linebacker comes up to make the tackle, now Purdy spots Deebo Samuel. But the real thing to watch on this play is Christian McCaffrey, who's seeing all this unfold in front of him. And once McCaffrey realizes that this ball is going to Deebo, he stops and makes a high IQ play, preventing the defender from making a play on the football. A few plays later, Shanahan again shows confidence in his offense, going for it on 4th down once more. And this time it's 4th and short. How was Purdy's quarterback sneak? We know that Jimmy Garoppolo is one of the best quarterback sneakers in the game today. Well, based on this play, this is not good from Brock Purdy. He's way too high. He's got to get down low, and he's got to get sideways, in between the center and the guard. Fortunately here, he gets some help from Aaron Banks and Christian McCaffrey. And Javon Holland picks a bad time to take a play off for the Dolphins. The 49ers gain enough yardage on the drive for a Robbie Gould field goal attempt. And he knocks it through, putting the 49ers up by 2 scores now, 20-10. The last time the Dolphins had the ball, they threw an interception, and they would really like to get going in the second half here. But you're not going to believe what happens next. We see Deommodore Lenoir giving Tyreek Hill a lot of space. A very good idea, we know how fast Tyreek Hill is. And Hill takes the space the defense left behind. But Tua throwing on the run throws a bad pass, and it's intercepted by Deommodore Lenoir. Back-to-back interceptions for Tua. Wow. After this play, Tua was inconsolable on the sideline. If the 49ers can score a touchdown, they would go up 3 scores, almost insurmountable against this defense. But when the Dolphins are able to hold him to a field goal, you could see Tua on the sideline saying, okay, we're okay. They're down 13, but it's still a 2-score game. Tua knows that the Dolphins are capable of scoring anywhere, anytime on the field. And he is correct. With Trent Sherfield coming open over the middle, Talanoa Hufanga drops down to pick him up, and that is a big mistake. Remember the Bill Belichick do your job speech? Well, Talanoa Hufanga's number 1 job here is not to get beat deep. But by dropping down, he allows the worst possible player, Tyreek Hill, to come wide open behind him, and Tua makes the 49ers pay for the mistake immediately. What do you need to throw the ball deep? Time. That's 2 times now we've seen the Dolphins' deadly quick strike offense in this game, and just like that, they are within 6 points of the 49ers, trailing 17-23. Despite some courageous throws by Brock Purdy, the 49ers would eventually have to give the ball back. But on this drive for the Dolphins, we would see some key sequences unfold. On 3rd down, Trent Sherfield appears to make a big catch, but the 49er sideline has a clear view of this play, and Kyle Shanahan would throw the challenge flag. The officials would review the play, and this call would be overturned, setting up a key 4th down for the Dolphins. The Dolphins would run an excellent play here, giving Tua multiple options, and they would pick up the 4th down. Let's move ahead in the drive. Needing to score late, the Dolphins would once again go for it on 4th down. And the tight end Mike Gesicki once again appears to make a big catch for Miami. But again, Shanahan would throw the challenge flag, and again this play would be overturned, this time resulting in a huge turnover on downs, giving the football to San Francisco. Facing a key 3rd down and 1, Miami sells out to stop the run, and this was all part of the plan, because this is a pass. Brock Purdy makes his first read to George Kittle, and sees that Kittle has some separation, and Purdy decides to throw him the football. A perfectly adequate decision. Had Purdy been a little bit more aware, he probably would have seen Tyler Kroft wide open for a touchdown. Either way, this play would be significant for several reasons. For one thing, that's the 2nd time in this game that the 49ers faced a 3rd and 1, and Shanahan had his young rookie throw the ball, and the 49ers completed both passes. Also, by maintaining possession, the 49ers can keep running down the clock, adding a second opponent for the Dolphins to face. Time. And check out this play. Wanting to make sure they have numbers in the blocking game, the 49ers use Christian McCaffrey as a lead blocker for Deebo Samuel. Deebo picks up yet another 1st down, allowing the 49ers to run even more time off the clock. And finally, do you remember that play we looked at in the 1st quarter when the 49ers had a tight end and a fullback in the formation and everybody moved to their right and the defense overreacted to the play, opening up a cutback lane for Jordan Mason? Well, this time it's Christian McCaffrey, and the 49ers use the same play to burn the Dolphins again, running more time off the clock and now putting themselves in position to score more points. giving them an insurmountable lead. Interestingly enough, the 49ers would follow this up with several mistakes: a loss of yardage, a penalty, and a sack. But McCaffrey gained so many yards on this play it didn't matter. Robbie Gould was still able to knock through a field goal, giving the 49ers a 9-point lead, 2 scores, with just 2 minutes and 8 seconds left in the game. Desperately needing points quickly, the Dolphins take to the skies, and knowing he needs to pass protect, Greg Little sets up deep, hoping to force Nick Bosa to take the long way around and giving Tua an opportunity to step up in the pocket. But Nick Bosa is a step ahead of both of them. Sack, fumble, Dre Greenlaw picks it up, the Niners score a touchdown, and they finish this game in style. That was a big hit on Tua, and I really got to tip my cap to him. He has showed a lot of heart playing in the NFL this year. With the 49ers up 33-17, the Dolphins pull their starters, and we get a chance to see their rookie quarterback, Skylar Thompson, who makes a rookie mistake, throwing into a crowd, interception by Fred Warner, and the Niner defense is still the best in the NFL. Well, there you have it. For the second time this season, we have a game that was a lot of fun to watch, where the 49ers won big, where they also lost one of their best players on offense. At first, it was Trey Lance against the Seahawks. This time, Jimmy Garoppolo against the Dolphins. We'll talk about where the 49ers land offensively in just a minute. Let's talk about the defense first, because they came up big in this game. 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown, 3 sacks by Nick Bosa, who leads the league. This defense came into the game as the number 1 D in the NFL against an explosive offense. They still came out on top. This team is for real. So, what are their chances offensively now that Jimmy Garoppolo is out of the picture? First, let's talk about Trey Lance, because we've seen him on the sidelines. He seems to be moving around just fine, but that doesn't mean that everything is healed internally in that foot. In fact, Kyle Shanahan was asked about this and said, no, Trey Lance is not going to be able to return this season. Foot injuries are very, very tricky things, especially for athletes. It's going to take time. He won't be ready until next year, unfortunately, because that would be a big asset. And to that end, it looks like there's a possibility Jimmy Garoppolo could be ready to go in 7 to 8 weeks. That's a pretty tight timeline. 8 weeks puts him at the NFC Championship game. Can it be done? We looked at some examples in this video where it's been done not once before, but twice before that we know of. They still might be okay. They've got that great roster, right? Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and in the words of Hank Stram, it's still a Cadillac. Someone's got to drive it. Of course, it goes without saying, the 49ers have to make it that far first, and then the question is, do you ride the hot hand, or do you go with Garoppolo? Those are problems Kyle Shanahan will have to face. I suspect good problems to have if we make it to the NFC Championship game with a quarterback that has a hot hand, right? So let's talk about the next 2 games. Tom Brady comes to town on Sunday. This was supposed to be Brady versus Garoppolo, right? Instead, it's the oldest player in the league against a very, very young rookie. Still some drama there, still some excitement, and I think the 49ers should do okay in that game. Tampa doesn't score a whole lot of points, so Shanahan can be pretty conservative, protect his rookie a little bit, but then they're going to have to go on the road against a higher scoring Seattle Seahawks team. A team that believes in itself right now, which is dangerous. They're only 1 game back in the standings, and they have a pretty easy opponent set up on Sunday at home against the Carolina Panthers, a team the 49ers beat big on the road. There's no such thing as a gimme in the NFL, but if I know Pete Carroll, he will have the Seahawks prepared for that game. In fact, if you look at Pete Carroll's history, anytime there's been a bigger game kind of looming on the horizon and he has that easy opponent beforehand, he really likes to take it to that team, give his team a lot of confidence before going into that big matchup on Thursday night. I would not be surprised if Seattle puts up 50 on the Carolina Panthers. 5-0. You heard it here first. We'll see. In terms of keeping pace in the NFC West, this was another big win for the 49ers against a good football team. San Francisco continues to impress. I still have to believe they are in the driver's seat for the NFC West. All right, if you guys have stayed here long enough, I want to thank you personally for everything you guys have done. I thank you for every comment, every like, every share. Leave me a comment. I read every comment and I try to reply to as many as I can. And for the people who have really gone that extra mile to help make this channel a success, I really just can't thank you enough for your tremendous, tremendous generosity. You humble me, you honor me. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing and incredible. You blow me away week after week after week. Thank you guys so much. It takes a long time to make a video like this. If I could just ask one more thing of you guys, if you could take just 10 seconds and hit that like button for me on your way out, I would really appreciate it. All right, it's Niners and Bucs at home at Levi's. Niners get a lot of home games. This should really help them. Winning that game will keep the pressure on Seattle, a game I will be attending in person. But it's going to be Niners and Bucs first, and you know we are going to be here to break down that film after that game, and I will see you guys then.